Reiss. Wilco makes a run ahead of him. Bergkamp suddenly changed pace through the centre. It's Bergkamp! That's magnificent! The move, and then this, which left Dabby's ass totally stranded.
Danny, you cheeky monkeys, how you doing on this lovely Friday afternoon, 9 p.m. in the UK? God knows what time it is where you are, but I'm sure if you have a look at a clock or a watch, it will indeed tell you. And ask your listening device, that will tell you what time it is. Betty, don't you even think of it. Wait. What have I just told you? Get down. I've got a bowl full of fish fingers and my cat is looking at me with eyes and they're not loving eyes. Talking about looking at me with loving eyes, with me this afternoon, this morning, it's Nick, the lesser spotted Nick, he's a busy man. We won't say why, but he's not on the run from the police. That's all you need to know about. Howdy doody, Nick, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Danny. How have you been, apart from the cold fish fingers that the cat is going to kill you for?
They're not cold. I just took everything out of the oven. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm back using the manual chair after 3 weeks using the electric one every bloody day because I had a sore bit. And you can't sit on a sore bit all the time because the sore bit it'll come back at you with great vengeance. And so, yes, I'm back in the normal one now, which is nice.
That's good. Nice. When's the ETA on the magic injections that's going to make you tap dancing?
June, apparently. Yeah, June. Probably too late for my brother, who's more and more fucked every day. Thank you very much to the NHS for nearly killing him 3 times this year, and now he's found out he's diabetic. So,
Three times this year? It's only the 10th of February.
Well, Hinchinbrook Hospital tried to fuck him over twice, and then Addenbrooke's Hospital tried to fuck him over again. Yeah, he's not well, and his days are numbered. And so my dad's apparently. So, lots of inheritance coming my way. Yum, 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 yum. Prozzies and Coke for everybody, I say. Are you allowed to say that on YouTube? I'm not sure. I'm high on fish fingers.
Let's go and have a look. Clamped down on drugs in this year, but it's too late.
Or you can have Pepsi and Whores. I don't mind, whichever one you want. It's all this. I've just tweeted the wrong bloody thing, haven't I? Forgot to paste it properly. So let's go and have a look in the chat and see who's in there. Meanwhile, I'm going to tweet the proper thing. There you go. I hope everyone's appreciating all the effort I've gone to put the club badges and to put the right kits in the tweets that I do now. It's wonderful. If anybody wants an El Nenny to cheer yourselves up, let me know and we'll pop on. That's what me and Nick we do pre-show. We have the El Nenny squad photo and it gets us raring to go for the show. First of all, Loki is there. Evening all, I'm drinking whiskey. Jesus, nobody annoy him. He'll get fisty. And so
what type of whiskey, Loki? We need to know this. What brand?
I bought an Xbox One game. I bought Forza Horizon 5. I installed it over Christmas.
Why'd you buy it?
Because I don't do Game Pass. If I'm paying for something, I want the physical copy. The only thing I didn't is Grand Theft Auto 5 because I load of codes of someone, and so then I installed it, and that's about 200-300 gig, is it? Ridiculous.
Well, there's a newer one. They make you install the online to play the single player, which is stupid. But
I don't do the online. I don't like it. Your evil twin, Phil Macker, is there. Look at him looking jaunty with a hat.
Evil twin? He's my dad. He's Danny DeVito to me being Schwarzenegger.
Isn't he? Is he a short ass?
Yeah, very, very short and very, very wide.
And whereas you're just tall and wide, which makes you...
Yeah, it makes a hell of a lot of difference.
Which makes you deceivingly elongated, I think is a polite way to put it. Twitter still being a twat, I see. Just go, no, I don't want notifications there. Bloody thing. All right, I'm just doing another tweet from my other account. There you go, a little ding dong there, and tweet that. Jubbly. So who else is there? A decent malt, I hope, Loki. Yes, my good man. They're all talking to themselves. Jim Eves is there. Evening all, not drinking whiskey, but a good idea. Oh, I'm surrounded by alcoholics. Loki says, I hope they're swearing as it's after 9 o'clock. Fuck no. We'll never. Oh, here we go. That's us demonetized. Loki says electric chairs can be harmful. They can, because the number of times I've had it since late 2017, been using it since 18 to go out with, and using it around the house. The number of Sean tried driving into the kitchen, forgot to move the controller a bit inwards because it was out wide, smashed the cupboard and the wall.
I think he's talking about the electric chair that John Coffey sat in.
Green Mile, that's all we're saying.
Reading that book. Did you know that's actually a book, not just a movie?
Next to you telling me Stephen King wrote it.
It did.
Shut up. Si is there. I'm running a book on what Si's first hashtag will be. So let us know in the chat what you think it will be. Mike is there. What's up, fuckos? Are we doing a show on Sunday, Mike? Are we? Are we doing one? Are you going to turn up? Because I've had to use Dean for the last one, and quite frankly, nobody likes him. Filthy Scouser. That's why. Phil says he's 5'7", which means he's actually 5'6". Loki says J and B. What's that? Jim and Bean? No. I don't know what J and B is.
I've got something in black. I can't remember.
Anyway, David is there. I forgot to ask you, but if you want to do a preview show, David, you have to hit me up on the gram. I don't do that. I don't use Instagram. Maybe answer a WhatsApp every now and then, David. That would be a great idea. Phil says, I have a few malts the other night at the Playhouse Theatre watching a bit of jazz. I'd rather die than listen to jazz. Mr. Maverick Kaiser. Hello, sir. I say, sir. There's no actual proof that we look at the picture. There's no actual proof that Maverick is even human. Very mercurial. So is a mysterious human being. The only evidence we've ever had that you exist is when you're having a pub meal with a pint of something special and you share it with people. But other than that, we don't know. Mystery. BX Gunner is here. This whole having to download or install a game is just a pain in the arse. Just pop it in a cartridge or a disc and off you go. BX, I smell what you're cooking and I agree. I only own one game that is a download. We've been through that. Mike says, pre-Super Bowl roast from 9 p.m. I'm in. Let's talk Egg Bowl.
Is that time of year again?
Yep, Sunday. It is the thingies against the thingies, and my money's on the thingies. Mr. Waffles, he looks younger. Had some work done. Yeah, he's been working out for sure, ain't it? Hey. Know what I mean? Say no more. Something for the weekend, sir.
Stop talking.
Steph, who I do know exists. Let's beat Brentford. Well, trying to get the show back on track. Ridiculous. Am I in your WhatsApp group? No, I wouldn't put you in a WhatsApp group, Dave, because you're far, far too cool. Sir would do. Well, yes. An international man of mysteries, Mr. Maverick Kaiser. Mr. Waffles, I know how it is. Who? I don't know what you're on about. Phil says, I love a bit of planky plank jazz. No. I was listening to some synth wave last night. Not bad. Philadelphia Eagles, says Loki, will smash it up on Sunday. You heard it here first. No idea. Mike says, are you going to talk about football anytime soon? Shows where you didn't shows where you don't discuss football and talk about waffle are just boring. How dare you? Mick says no. Phil says fuck the Super Bowl. And Steph says, get on with it. Right, we will get on with it. What a great idea. We're only 8 minutes in. How dare you telling me what to do? We are going to go and have a look at this Arsenal v Brentford, Nick. We have played each other 6 and 6 is 12 plus 6. We're 142 times. No, 16 times we have played each other. We've won 6. They've won 6, surprisingly. And we have drawn 4. The last 3 times we played them. Oh, actually, I'm only going to do the last 2 because they're the only ones that are relevant. The one before the last one was the 26th of September 2018 at home. That's the League Cup. That's not right. That can get out the bloody window. We've only played them 3 times in the Premier League. So the last time we beat them 3-0 at their place. Time before that, we beat them 2-1 in the Premier League. That's the one that I have open because 19th of February 2022. We scored Smurf first with a Smith Rowe, who is back in training, which is lovely to see. And then Bukayo Saka scored on the 79th minute. Then Christian Norgard managed to score in the 90th minute. Our team that day, pretty decent. It was only It's only almost a year ago. What's today's date? It would be
10th
the 11th.
of February.
It'll be the 11th tomorrow. So it's 8 days short of a year ago. So that's lovely. Yes. So other than that, there's not much to say about that game. All I remember when I think about Brentford, Nick, is that time, their first ever game in the Premier League. It should have been called off, but they decided to put it on the Friday night because we were riddled with the pox, and they beat us 2-0 in the first ever game at their new stadium. Do you remember that?
Yeah, didn't we have like 8 players out with COVID and they said, no, you must play. And then later on in the season, we had, I think, 1 person with COVID and they allowed us to cancel the North London derby, which is...
Well, that was 1.5 years ago. We had Leno in goal, gone. Mari virtually gone. White, Chambers gone. Tierney doesn't play. Xhaka there. Lokonga gone. Smith-Rowe broken. Pepe gone. Balogun gone but will return. Martinelli was there, and then Saka, Nelson, and Tavares on the bench. We even had Carl Hein on the bench, Cedric on the bench, Hector, Big Bob, Tavares, Saka, El Neni, Reiss Nelson, and Maitland-Niles conservative. So that's it. Let's have a look at injuries, shall we? Jesus, there's a quote today. Oh, Gabby is doing really well. He's already been outside a little bit. He's in the early stages. We need to respect some timelines and some processes, but he is doing really well. Now, Nick, did you see that cheeky bugger who had a picture of Jesus doing some swimming pool training? You know, when you walk through the water, and I think they put something like it's Jesus still hasn't mastered. He's still not fully fixed. He hasn't mastered walking on water.
Yeah, very clever. I like that.
That did. Oh, pardon me. That's the fizzy water. That did make me chuckle a little bit, which I thought was nice. What other? Oh, now I've got the hiccups. That's the fish finger hiccups. Reiss Nelson again today. Reiss is closer. He started to do some work activities. In brackets, has worked outside, but he's not ready to be considered yet. Fair enough. The Smith-Rowe. This is the one we all care. Well, I suppose Jesus we care about more. Quote from today. Emile is closer. He started to do some activity. This is just a cut and paste from the last bloody one, you shit. It is. They've just replaced the word Reiss for the word Emile. I'm not giving them the coverage for that. Brentford's injuries. Frank Onyeka, never heard of him. Pontus Janssen, I think I've heard of him. He's very close to full training. Shannon Baptiste, never heard of him. Thomas Strakosha, I think that's a made-up name, so I'm going to ignore that. Nick, where can you see the match? You can't see it on TV. Do you know why? Because they're scumbags. Definitely. You can listen to it on Radio 5, apparently. I'm not sure about that.
I'm pretty sure you can find it somewhere.
I'll be watching it. Don't you worry about that, Meow Treacle. Pick a country, Nick. What country would you like to know what channel it is on?
Turkey. I think they could do with a laugh.
They could
after the week they've had.
They have had a fucking awful week. Turkey. It's on beIN Sports 3. Turkey. beIN Connect Turkey. And there you go. So that is all the information I have about the thing at the moment. Let's have a look at the Premier League positions and see what we can make of that. Go back down here. I nearly clicked on last season. That would have been an absolute disaster. And then I need to go on here and then go wide, because we all know the ladies love the wide boys. So we are at home, and our record at home is played 9, won 8, drawn 1, lost 0, scored 25, conceded 10. So that's basically 2.5 to 1 every home game. And Brentford's away form, played 10, won 2, drawn 5, lost 3, scored 12, conceded 18, which means they score once every home game and they concede 2. So there you go. It's going to be 2-1 the Arsenal. What do you think about that, Nick?
Well, I think I'd love a win, obviously, to put the Everton game to bed from last week. I mean, they've had a whole week, to train to get ready for it. And I think this is a really important game for how this season goes, because we're at home to Brentford. I don't care what anyone says. If we're going to be the champions, we beat them and beat them comfortably. Yep. So we need to put on a performance tomorrow. And I'm talking, 3 or 4? I think that's something we need. And then, look at it that way. Then we'll be level on games with Man City. and 8 points ahead.
Oh, mama!
So in theory, we could then afford to lose to Man City twice because we've still got to play them twice, haven't we? Because
We do.
the one on over Christmas, was it the Amazon Prime game? That one over Christmas and New Year, that was the one that got postponed for, what was it? Something got cancelled and we.
Oh, it was the Queen's funeral, I think.
Yeah, they said we couldn't play for whatever reason, and no, they cancelled that one. So we had to play a European game instead of the Man City game, didn't we?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. They cancelled our European game on a Thursday for reasons. So then we had to play the refixtured that the same time as the Premiership was playing before the draw, which I suppose is fair enough. But yeah, 8 points. You can never be too far ahead if you want to win the Premiership. But basically, we could go there. They have to beat us.
Yeah.
We could afford to. We can afford to go for a draw. I mean, beat them at home, draw away. It would be nice, but I just think we can
definitely get some points, or points. I'm not sure whether it's singular or plural. It's going to be one or the other, but they're not going to get 6 points off of us.
No, but we've got to be doing these sides. You can't lose to Everton, new manager bounce. That's really bad. We need to let know. I mean, I don't know if you got the rest of the fixtures before we actually play. I thought we had 4 or 5 games before we start playing the big hitters again.
Well, we've got Brentford on Saturday. Wednesday, we're at home to Man City. Then we're away at Villa on the Saturday after, 12:30 kickoff. Disgusting. And then the 25th, we're away at Leicester, home to Everton, home to Brentford, away at Fulham, home to Palace, home to Leeds. And then we've got a tough couple of games, away at Liverpool, away at West Ham, home to Southampton, and then away at Man City, which is the 26th of April.
I mean, realistically, other than the Man City, all those other games, if you're going to be champions, you've got to win them all, haven't you?
Well, they are going to be worried about us.
I mean, Man United did that for, 15, 20 years of Fergie, pretty much hammering all the crap teams that he should do.
Yeah.
And, anything you get off the big boys is a bonus. That's just what you got to do. But I think that's more mentality than, points-wise. You lose that one game, that's a blip. You come out strong tomorrow and you do them over. People are like, oh, no, they are the good. We lose 2 in a row, then the pressure could be on us, especially to Man, then the next game was at Man City on Wednesday. Is that that's at the Emirates though, right? Did you say?
I'm going to have a little peeky poo. Yes, it is 7:30 next Wednesday. Oh, mama, that is a title deciding fixture. If we win that, it's party time.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. We win tomorrow, we're 8 points ahead, depending on whatever they do. I assume they're playing Sunday, are they? I think they play Sunday this week. But either way, we're playing. I think we are playing before them.
They are playing Aston Villa on the 12th, and then they've got us, and then after that, they've got a pretty decent run. They're away. Actually, away at Forest is no longer the pushover that you would think it is.
Well, they've got 800 players in the first team squad, haven't they?
And that's not an exaggeration. Keelan Navas is there, who's a really decent player. Looking at Brentford's away form, they drew 0-0 away at Leeds. They beat West Ham 2-0. Then they beat Man City 2-1. That's their last 3 games. So does that worry you?
Not really. I mean, that just depends what they're going to do. I mean, they don't seem a very anything side at the moment, Brentford. I've never really, because you look at people like Brighton, you think they're actually a good footballing side, and you look at some other teams, well, they're a dirty side, things like that. Whereas
I think they're better at home.
Yeah, but they don't really have they're just okay at a bit of every. They're okay defending, okay attacking, sort of thing like that. We should be better than them. Like I said, we should be beating them. Just imagine that though, Danny. We beat them tomorrow. We're 8 points clear on level games. And then we play Man City on Wednesday and then another game. We could be 11 points clear of them with a game in hand on Wednesday if we beat them.
And only Newcastle have ever had that kind of lead and fucked it up. Actually, when we won the league in '98, I think Man United had a huge lead, but then it didn't really come to much.
Yeah, but I think if you remember, didn't we have 3 games in hand for a long time as well?
Yes,
that season. So
because we were going deep in the FA Cup that season. Lots of lovely people have joined us. Rudy Roods is double dipping. Nice to see. It's always nice if people watch us on Twitch and the YouTube because it makes us look even better than we actually are. What else have we got? Who else turned up? Pete Colson is there. Hello, Pete. I already said hello to Loki. Paul Nell, not Neil, is there. And now I'm going to scroll down and see if anybody else has turned up. Dan Gooner, since 1976, is there. Oh, Pete has got a question. Right, I'm saving that question for later, Pete. Gary is there. Evening, Danny, panel and chat room. Need to get Gary. Need to get you on for a preview show. I did ask about 400 people before I resorted to asking Nick. I didn't need actually your number. Was there? 2. Because the other one didn't even fucking reply. Yeah. And then, of course, I put it in the WhatsApp group and only 3 bothered replying. Ellis, bless him, always replies. And we always know we can't do it, but he always replies.
I muted that like 6 months ago. So
I always have all of my WhatsApp muted. So Mr. Boblex is also there, and I think he's double dipping. That's nice to see. Gary, BX, yes, Pete's there. Brentford are no mugs, haven't lost in the league since October. I know, that's why I'm concerned. Oh, yeah, I think that's what I said. They are better at home. What nonsense is Mike? Mike's actually in the pool at the moment, turning the water yellow. They're literally, don't use the word literally. If you can use the sentence without the word literally, there are dozens of people watching now. Yes, they are. Oh, you are going to get the rough side of my tongue at the weekend, young man. I need someone to take my anger out on. This is reaching Sunday roast levels. That's not. Nick knows what he's on about. He talks good soccer. Ball. So then they game before. So we said they've managed to get 7 points from the last 3 away games, which is magnificent. And I bet they're coming to us and they think they're going to get a draw. But then they also went to Brentford, went to Villa and lost 4-0. Villa at average. They went to Newcastle and lost 5-1. And then they had 3 more draws and a loss to Fulham. So I think it's just a case that it's a team new to the Premier League that are just working out what they're going to do, whether they're going to be better at home, better away, whether they're good against teams that play attacking football, or whether they do well against teams that play shit football like Newcastle do because they're not interested in playing the beautiful game. So what else was I going to talk about? It's Man City are going to go to Forest. I wouldn't be surprised if they drew that. Man City away this season have only won 5. And Forest this season at home have also won 5. That's got a draw written all over it, Nick.
Which game's got a draw written all over it?
Forest v Man City.
Possibly. I mean, Man City, they do seem to be struggling the last few weeks. I mean, they lost to Spurs, so they're terrible. They've always been terrible.
That was absolutely hilarious how the scum managed to beat them. Brilliant. Yeah. And they've got a player who's got Man City have got Haaland, who's got 25 goals in 21 games. He's not even started them all, and they're worst. They're the worst team they've been probably in the last 4 or 5 seasons.
They've never. I don't understand. I mean, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but he's sort of like, the whole team has to be built around Haaland to get the best out of him. But Man City have pretty much ever since they've had, all the dodgy money, they've never actually been a one-man team. They've always been, they've always been played the team game and passed it, tried to play decent football.
True.
And just recently, I mean, hasn't he been dropping like De Bruyne and people like that? And I'm like, how are you dropping De Bruyne? Seriously.
And Caicedo, one of the best attacking right backs, I think he is in the league, falling out with him. And hopefully this whole dodgy money thing is going to upset them. Like Dan Laguna since 1976 says, if we turn up, we win. Simple. Yep.
If we hit them hard in the first 10, 15 minutes, then, and especially if we score, they're going to think, let's just get out of there without getting humiliated and injured. And that's what you do. Whereas let's say the Everton game, we just didn't turn up. We didn't really play well for most of it, if any of it. And Everton just got better and better. Oh, I'm a full
Pete
screen
wants
now.
to know your artwork behind you. What is it?
That is Thanos from Avengers. See,
Why hasn't he got all these beautiful jewels? I suppose they are a little bit, aren't they?
He has. That's just because it's white and the camera's white and stuff like that. So they're all nice and colourful. The Infinity Stones, and they're coming out of the screen, out of the picture, all nice and coloured. I like.
You do know it's not real, don't you?
What's not real?
All of it.
What, the Avengers documentary? What do you mean it's not real?
You're a very, very silly human being. So what else are we going to talk about? We already talked about that. Loki's whiskey is kicking in. City are a bunch of wanky cunts, I think is what he actually means to say. But because of YouTube being the way they are, they get the hump if you type any kind of that nonsense. People have got any questions, start with a Q and I'll answer them in a few minutes. And also, if you've got a prediction, put it in the chat and then I'll save them to the end and then I'll go through them all. Mr. Waffle says, nothing is real. We live in a simulation. Prove we don't live in a simulation. That's what I say. Sai, I like Thanos. Seems like a nice guy. He's just misunderstood. And quite frankly, if you could delete half of the population of the planet Earth, I'd probably do it. Probably be better for planet Earth. That'd be a good idea, Nick. You would get to work easier, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it works. I mean, I suppose genocide's not the best solution.
No,
but...
not genocide. No. Dustification.
Is that the wrong word?
Dustification.
Justification. Oh, fair enough. I get
yes, that's what it is.
Look at that. Spurs have disappeared. There we go.
Well, half their team would. And so there you go. Mr. Boblex on the Twitch. By the way, it's Cancelo, not Cal. Don't you dare correct me on my mispronunciations. Gary says, Danny, stop lying to Nick. It's real. Nick, don't listen to him. Phil's on his crack. He says 4-0 to us. Pete, another question from Pete. I'll save that for the end. Mr. Waffles has said, actually, I'm not going to read these out now. I'm just going to save them. Oh, and I'll save that one. So it's only Pete that's been asking questions. He's got 3 questions. Why isn't anybody else asking questions? That's the question. You need to get a move on, people. You need to sort your lives out. It's ridiculous. If this was Tom Canton's show, there'd be about 1,000 questions. It's because people like him. They don't like us. Very sad.
I like you, Danny.
Well, I know. As long as pizza can still be delivered after you wipe out half the human race, then fine. Not me. I'm not wiping them out. Good God, no. I wouldn't be. I'd feel a bit guilty.
You do look a bit like Thanos. If we painted you purple, you'd be a spitting image.
Oh, that's nice of you to say. There was something else I was going to talk about as well. I don't know what it was. That's a shame. So I'm looking at that. That wasn't it. I usually have all the windows open of all the things I want to go and have a look at. Well, there's 3 people watching on Twitch at the moment. That is lovely. Thank you very much. So I'm going to go and have a look at the questions. Ooh, I've got a question here. I'll answer this one first. What questions would you like? I'd like questions on British Touring Car Championship. That's what I'd like it on. That's what I'd like questions on. Something I know quite a bit about. Looks more like my dead dad. Dead dad, does it? Oh, that's nice. Oh, Gary has come up with a question. Situation with Martinelli. Give Trossard a go or sit Xhaka. Lol, I know. That's not happening. What do you think about the substitutions with Odegaard? Seems to be brought off more often than not. He's brought off too early, and I don't like to see it. I want him to see him play the whole game, because when Vieira comes on, only once this season has he had any kind of effect on the match. And what do you also think to actually talk about that one first, and then after that, talk about Trossard coming on for Martinelli? How do you think he's doing?
Yeah, I mean, I like Trossard. He's Premiership ready, but I don't like the idea of Odegaard going off, considering he's our captain. The captain shouldn't ever really get taken off, and how he plays, and his strengths and weaknesses have nothing to do, with physicality, how he plays, his passing ability, how good he is, at the final ball and things like that. Whereas theoretically, the last 20 minutes, half an hour, when everybody else on the pitch is getting tired, that is when those, really accurate, passes and through balls through to people, that is when they do the most effective, because people, are mentally and physically a bit more tired. So it's a weird thing for him to be taken off. But what was he saying about Trossard? I would probably start him tomorrow over Martinelli and give him a rest, just something different. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I might even get, if he's there, I might even give Tierney a start as well, because I don't know, if you just play the exact same side that lost to Everton last week, that's not really sending a message, is it, Danny? You've got to say, I'm going to drop 2 or 3, I'm going to freshen this up, because it is good that you play, in theory, the same side pretty much week in, week out, but you get predictable, and then some people can get comfortable. So, I'm not saying wholesale changes, but maybe 2 odd change.
Yes, I think you're right there, because that display. I mean, it's back-to-back games that we've lost 1-0, which isn't good, and the lack of enthusiasm to do anything about the game, and the lack of creativity that we saw against Everton was completely unacceptable. I think I've complained a little bit too much about Odegaard being taken off early. He 77th minute against Everton. 87 Brighton, 87 Chelsea, 83 Southampton, 73 Leeds, 82 Liverpool, and 80 Spurs. And there's a few others before that. So, yeah, I'm going to withdraw my complaint that he comes off too early. But I don't like it. I always think a little bit, when he goes off, because I think that he is the one. If anybody's going to make anything happen on there, it's going to be him. And it makes me sad to see him go. I've got a question from Sai. Would you travel to space, Mars if given the opportunity? Oddly enough, Sai, I could quite easily go on a 6-month journey in a capsule somewhere on my house. If you launched my house, my bungalow, to Mars, I'd be perfectly happy not speaking to or seeing another person for 6 months. I could go a year without doing it. I'm perfectly happy, but a bit claustrophobic, and I don't want to go to Mars. There's nothing going on there, is there? Once I found out that's not where Mars bars are from, that's it, dead to me. I'm not interested in the slides. Nick, do you want to go to space?
Not really. I like oxygen. There's not much of that around there. I wouldn't really want to go up there.
Okay then, fair enough. Steph has asked a British Touring Car Championship question, which is nice to see. He says, who do you think is going to win it this season? It's gonna be, what's his name? He won it a couple of years ago.
Tommy Mackinnon.
That he could well be him. What's his name? Oh, for God's sake! I have to go and look and see who can runner up. Ash Sutton is going to win it, because he is he's a beast, and that is who's going to win it. So I have no. If we want to do a British Touring Car Championship podcast, do let me know. Question from Gary. Who's won the most British Touring Car trophies, as in the most number of championships? There's quite a few of them, I think. I think it's shared on about 4 champions. Let's have a little look at the champions. It's not going to tell me, is it? No. Doesn't say who's won it the most number of times. Doesn't even have a little asterisk next to it. Turkington's won it a few times, 5. Ingram's won a couple. And Matt Neal, I think, has won 4. So it looks like it's Colin Turkington, a very, very boring human being for Northern Ireland. That's Nick Abbott for you there. Mr. Boblex, Odegaard has had a few knocks, so I think it's precautionary. Arteta knows best, so I'm not going to argue with him. Mr. Boblex on Twitch says, will players get booked for smashing us ever? That's a good question, Nick. We are getting absolutely mullered, aren't we, in most games that we play? And Saka got a finger in the eye last time, didn't he? Did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, if only they could watch the game, somewhere on a television and keep an eye on seeing what the referee misses and lets him know when he's getting stuff wrong. That'd be great. Be
realistic. They could never organise a system that did that. Yeah. You're talking crazy talk.
It's just one of those things. It just goes back to the old tried and tested Fergie days, Allardyce days, Pulis days of Arsenal. Kick the shit out of them. Or how do they put it? Get in their faces. Well, literally, that guy got his finger in Saka's face. So I think he took that literally, because you like saying literally, don't you?
I'm ignoring you.
You're
Loki
ignoring me.
says, who gave Nick the makeover? He looks a year younger. He's not saying. Phil asks, if you had to kill one member of ABW, Danny, who would it be? Would it be Nick? Of course it wouldn't be Nick. I think it would have to be John Welsh, because then it has too many ladies, and it means there'd be lots of ladies for everybody else to share, to try and chat up, because he's a deviant. Nick says, how old do you think I am? I think you are 18. Loki says he thinks you're 11. Well, here's a name for you. Speranta Dan Henriksen. I would say you are Danish. What are you guys talking about? Just joined. Maybe he's from Norway. I don't know. What we're talking about. Is he going to say? Is he going to say it? I was half expecting you to shout at me, Nick. I think there's a monster in my back garden. One of my cats has just come running in. Cats. They're all in. It's making a funny noise. Could be a fox. Foxy.
We're talking about wildlife around Danny's house. So we've got foxes, cats, pigeons shitting on your car. What else we had this season?
Flies. That's
flies.
nonsense.
Oh dear.
I know.
Are we talking about football and Arsenal?
No, we're talking about Mr. Henriksen from Sweden asking what we're talking about. There's that noise again. I'll get worried because we live in the countryside here. I've already had one cat killed by a fox. Where's my shotgun? Pete says, so I say stick to the same side. We are at home and need of a shock. Shake off the bad Everton show. Phil says you're 33. Mr. Hertz is here. We have this. Just waiting for the... it's not there, is it? I got rid of it. Oh, never mind. All right, someone's dog barking. A dog barking? Here, we don't put up with that kind of nonsense. Or holla holla. Yes, indeed. Fucking freezing on Mars, Dan. I know it is. Dan Gooner, you'd be very close to the sun, Danny, as you are always freezing. Now, I would be closer to the sun. But the ambient temperature in space is chilly, to say the least. I think it's minus 200 degrees or something like that. Did I ever play Colin McRae Rally? Yes, I did. And I even drove down the dead end and met the aliens. Did you ever do that, Nick?
I can't remember that. I did play Colin McRae Rally and what was it? Tommy Mackinnon Rally. What was it? What was the first one on PlayStation? Toka Race Car something?
Oh,
I was playing that.
Beautiful
That was good.
Game. It was.
It's all a bit downhill now because they want you to buy the game for like 70 quid and then pay more money to play with the cars. I'm like, no, I bought a game to play with the cars. I'm not giving you more money. Really fucks.
Gary says, question, what is British Touring Championship is touring car, BTCC. It's kind of like NASCAR, as in they're family cars, but they're not really family cars. They've moved all the internet. Look at the outside, they look like family cars, and they're all 2 litre. And that's the gist of it. And it's better than Formula One. There again, most things are better than Formula One because Formula One is shit. Mr. Boblix has put hashtag fuck Ellis. That's not very nice. Dan Naguna, we got a terror alert in Sweden. Have you? That's worrying. Arnie from Iceland is there. Hi, boys and girls. Mr. Boblix, no, never met an alien. Oh, Toka was good. Yeah, that's what it is. And Pete says, question. How pleased will you be when we sign up to the all-new shiny Super League Duper League? I don't want it, but we're going to talk about that on the podcast next week. So have you got any thoughts? Because I doubt you'll be on the podcast next week because Nick's a busy man.
No, when are you having it next? Was it Wednesday?
I haven't asked His Highness yet, so we don't know.
Yeah, well, he won't have me on there anyway because he's threatened by my youthful looks.
He is definitely threatened by something. But go back to the questions. Pete has asked a question. Will Mikel change the lineup? Martinelli out for Trossard, Partey out for Jorginho. Thinking about ahead to City. Now, we know in not the last game against Everton, the game before that, Partey had a couple of damaged ribs and then he was taken out early in the Everton game and Jorginho came on. What did you think about that? Because I thought Jorginho was bloody awful.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, John really loves him, probably because he's Italian. He is Italian, right? Or did he just come from the Italian league? I think he's
Oh,
Italian.
no, he did. He played for, was it Napoli? I think it was Napoli he played for, and he was brilliant over there.
Yeah, and I think he was linked. What was he linked to Man City as well? I mean, he's a decent player, but I mean, what was that? Was that his first game for
Yep.
us? So you're really going to judge him on what, 20 minutes, half an hour, or did he come on at half time?
I think, hold on, I did have it up. I think it was just after half time, maybe about 50 or 60 minutes.
Yeah, you can't really judge a guy on like 40 minutes. So let's see what you get. But like I said, if Partey's a little bit doubtful, then you got to drop. You got to either leave him on the bench or drop him for the game for him. I mean, if that's why you bought him, and he's the only one who sort of plays in a similar position to him, then you got to drop him and then save Partey for the Man City game, because they're all going to know that Partey's got bruised ribs the same as what we do. So when the refs aren't looking, they're going to be elbowing him in the ribs the whole game anyway. So you might as well save it for the Man City game, especially when you think the Man City game is live on TV. This one isn't. So they'll probably get away with a bit more of that, not on a live TV game.
And plus, for the last 5 or 6 years, he has been one of the main players playing for Italy, although he is Brazilian. It's a case of who was the Croatian Brazilian that we had?
Eduardo,
same as that. Born in Brazil, but naturalised for another one because he has been he was playing in Italy since, I don't know, about the age of 15 or 16, something like that. So I'm going to get rid of that question. A prediction here from Phil Macker, 4-0 to us. Nope, that's not going to happen. Question from Pete. Will the Man City scandal galvanise them in a siege mentality or make them worse? That's a good question. I like that.
I don't think that'll give a shit really, because this is gonna drag on, and whether or not they, the Premiership have the balls to actually do anything other than fine them a load of money, which they don't care because they've got all the money. I mean, we all know that they've been, cheating financial fair plays, because you just look at them before they took over in like 2009 and after.
Allegedly.
And no, they did. I don't give a shit.
I'm not doing bird for you, sunshine.
All right, well, fair enough. You can go into different. I'll go to prison for it if someone wants to attack me. They've been cheating, spending money they're not generating. They're cooking the books. They always have been cooking the books. That was what happens. They're cheats, same as Chelsea are cheats. And as soon as Newcastle get top 4, they will cheat as well. And we need to. It'd be nice if we win the league this year, because if they don't stop these people doing this thing and bring in a wage cap and things like that, then it's just going to be Man City, Newcastle, or Chelsea finishing first, second, and third every year. And the only reason they haven't stopped them is because they've been like bribing people to get away with this shit for years. And the reason they're now getting done is because they've stopped bribing certain people. So
the views of Nick, who is on the run in Colombia, and don't sue ABW. We don't make enough money to run the podcast, let alone pay a few 100,000 in legal bills. So there might be the last time you see Nick here, because he's going to have to sell all of his junk behind him to defend himself. In a court of law, Mr. Waffles has said 3-0 to the Arsenal. He's gone. Pete has said, another question, is Nick getting RSVR2? He's just making that up. There's no such thing.
No, that's PlayStation VR2. No, because they never supported the first one and it was shit, and they can't even sell this one, which costs more than a PlayStation 5, and you need a PlayStation 5 to run it, and they still aren't bringing no games out, so fuck them.
Arnie says 65. Lovely. Not sure what that's about. Loki is pissed up and eating spare ribs. Can I send one to Partey? No. Hopefully he's all right. Dan the Gooner. Everybody is brilliant in the Italian league. Well, yeah, that is. It is easy to look good in that league. I mean, Giroud's about to get another contract, and what's he, 60 now? Ridiculous. Mr. Boblex has gone 3-1 the Arsenal. Nick took the words out of my mouth. City won't give a shit. Sadly true. They're all agreeing with you. Add United to that list. Well, if they could organise themselves, yeah, they're an absolute joke of a club. Phil says sponsored their own training ground through one of their companies for $500 million. Hilarious. Remember Paul Ince? Do you?
Yeah, I remember Paul Ince.
Do you remember his son? What was his son's name? Tom Ince. When Tom signed for Derby, when they were all involved in this money scandal, they paid his mum, Tom Ince's mum, £600,000 to be a scout. She never did any scouting. She only ever made 2 recommendations that the Derby should get: Mbappe and Neymar. And they talk about dodgy shenanigans. That was from 2018, only because I was listening to Kieran Maguire has a podcast and he talks about the finances and he mentioned it on there. And I thought, yeah, it can't be right. I had a look and it was, in fact, right. All Nick News is a canoe. You never get him in a canoe. Not enough Vaseline in the world.
I've been in a canoe before.
Shut your face. Pete Coulson says 2-1. Arsenal, Eddie and Saka to score. Boy 10, hello. We win. Simon Collins, ex of this parish, is in South Africa at the moment. He's loving it. It's one of the nicest places he's ever been because Boy is in South Africa. He says, we will win 3-0. Eddie and Nketiah hat-trick. Nah. If we don't, then he gets the winner's hat-trick against City. I think you've been on the dingo meat. Did you get nice Australia dingoes, isn't it? Anyway, don't eat dingoes. Steph says 1-0 the Arsenal. Phil says Thomas was a fab player on Footy Manager. And Loki says we'll beat Brentford 3-1 quite easily. Nay bother. Do you play Football Manager ever, Nick?
No, I played it when it was Championship Manager once and I didn't like it.
Anybody who's interested in Football Manager, there is a bloke called I just followed him on Twitter. Can't remember his name. He has just done a complete database update starting for the season 1998-99, and he's done it all the clubs in the right positions with the right players, with the right managers, with the right names, and he's done it all throughout England, Scotland, Italy, Germany, France, Spain, and Portugal. They're the only leagues he's done, and he's done it so the right players come through the academies at the right time. So in that game, although he can't adjust the date in it, but the first season's 98-99, and you can go and find a 12-year-old Messi still in Argentina. But I watched a video where someone made it and played it, and it turned out Messi, he forwarded it 50 years into the future or 30 years, and Messi never really did anything with his career and ended up being a sub at Real Madrid. And Leeds are huge in it. They've won back-to-back titles because back in 98, Leeds were brilliant. Blackburn are still doing stuff. And he's done it. He's updated all the finances. So Chelsea, Man City and PSG don't get their dirty money. And so Man City start the game in the 3rd tier of English football. I'm going to go and find...
You know what that proves, don't you? That Football Manager's a load of bollocks.
How dare you, sir. It is called The Mad Scientist. So that's Mad Scientist FM, all one word, on the Twitters. And so go and have a look at it and download it. It's on Steam. You can get it directly from him. And it is really interesting to see what he's done. So I'm going to ignore what you've just said. I've got a couple of more things. Mr. Boblex from Twitch says, with the pictures of ESR started training, when do you think his first game back is going to be? And also, when do you think Jesus is back? What are you doing? Sit still, boy.
All right, sorry.
When do you think ESR and Smith Rowe are going to be back, and Jesus are going to be back?
Well, Jesus, I mean, he's only been back in training this week, so I suppose it's just light training, a bit of jogging. I suppose probably the first week of March. I think he's going to take another 2 weeks to get up to full fitness. A couple of, behind closed doors games, sort of thing, or whatever they're doing. Is the reserve still going? Because of we've just got the under 23s now, haven't they?
They changed it back to the under 21s.
They've changed it back again, haven't they? Yeah. So whether they'll put something like that on. Whereas Smith Rowe, I don't know. He's getting a touch of the Wilshires about him, unfortunately, isn't he? I hope he can stop all that, but it's not looking good at the moment, is it?
I have faith. Evening lads, says West Midlands Gooner. I said West Mid. I think it's West Midlands. That's the left-hand side. Nervy 2-1 win, they say. Boy says, last one I bought was FM20. I want to get FM23 because they've rated the Arsenal lads properly. I'm playing FM23. I've just been sacked by Gloucester City. I took them from the bottom of the Conference North to 17th, then 12th, then 4th. And then I was about 6th in the league and they fired me. New manager came in, didn't carry on what I was doing. And this season, they are now in the relegation zone. Fuck you, Gloucester City. Fuck you in the face. And now I'm manager of Forest Green Rovers. 2 games, 2 draws. You can't beat that. Phil says, too much fucking time on his hands. Good. West Mid Gooner. Should we start Trossard tomorrow instead of Martinelli? Nick says yes. I say no. No. I think he needs more time to become acclimatized to the way that we play football. Phil says, that's a slur on my life, Nick. Good. Loki, I played Championship Manager 0102 still. It's free. Yeah, not as good though, is it? Pete Coulson, ESL and Jesus at least 4 weeks away from being starters. Loki says, Jesus will be back at Easter. It's tradition.
I think he just won chat tonight, Loki did. I like that one.
Yeah, they fucked me over, Phil. And then they sacked the bloke after about 12 games who took over from me. And now they're going down with a decent squad of wonderful players. And my star right back that I managed to find went to Hull. Went from Conference South to League One Hull. That is a move. I think we're all done. Unless anybody else wants to put any more predictions in the chat. We've been going 51 minutes, which is about 21 minutes longer than we needed. But I haven't spoke to Nick in a while. We wanted a good old chin wag, didn't we, dear?
Yeah. So are you predicting tomorrow then?
I am going to go 2-1 because that's what the goals home and goals away say. But do not take Brentford lightly. They have got a brilliant manager. They've got some really decent players and they're a good side. So, and we're on a bit of a wobble at the moment. And they've got, like I said earlier, 7 points from out of 9 from the last 3 away games. Sai has come in. He's Agent Sai, as he should now be known, says 3-1 to Brentford. Bob Lex, 3-1. Xhaka first goal scorer. A thunder bastard from the halfway line.
Yeah, so he hasn't had his thunder bastard goal this year, has he? So
he hasn't.
Nice. I think I fancy a 3-1 as well to Arsenal, not to them. So.
Good. Right. I am hopefully doing the post-game show with Sophie from the Highbury squad tomorrow if all goes well. She's got a lot of stuff on at the moment. She said she's almost definitely going through with it. So that'll be a few minutes after the game is over. And ABW will be doing their post-game show. I think I said 7 o'clock. Me and Deke will be doing that about... Hold on. I'm going to go and have a look. Now, where's my WhatsApp with Deke? Good job I checked. 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Me and Deke laying down some hard truths if we lose and giddy as kittens if we win. Tony bet on Arsenal win. I don't know what that means.
Ivan Tony, who done all the betting scandals.
Yes. Pete says, thank you for the preview, guys. Come on, you Gunners. Now, how many of you are watching? There's 28 of you watching. How many thumbs up? We've got 25 thumbs up. I think that is a damn fine ratio. Thank you very much, everybody. If you are new, subscribe. Just go and get the link for this podcast. Email it to everybody in your contact. If you've worked for a big multinational company like Shell or BP or the government, if you work for the government, go and get this link and email it to everybody on the government's emailing list. So that'd be about 65 million people in this country. See if we can get our numbers up by doing that.
You're trying to get me in trouble with the Man City comments earlier, aren't you?
I don't know. Spin is there on Twitch. I'll be watching from work. Probably means a 7-goal thriller. Yes, it's not on TV, but if you know, you know. Phil says, I thumbed up at the start. Simple, you've always got your thumb up, Phil, which is part of your problem.
No one ever picks them up, though.
Nick, will you be doing any of your Twitch shows, or will you be busy working?
No, I'll be twitching at some point tomorrow, like probably the same time you are. Like
Still playing shit games?
Yeah, I'm playing. What am I playing? I have no idea. Sonic the Hedgehog. Is that shit?
Fuck off.
What about Uncharted? Is that shit?
That's all. I'll put to download the film for that. I mean, I just I subscribe to a service that has those films to download and watch. No, rubbish.
One of these days I'll play a game you enjoy.
What would that be? GTA, Red Dead Redemption 2.
I did Red Dead Redemption 2.
You did, yes. Mr. Bob Lex says West Ham to win against Chelsea. Chelsea are rubbish at the moment. Right, we've waffled on far too long. People, Nick, if people want to find you on the Twitters and they're not looking at the screen, where can they find you?
Yeah, that's at Nick Fights on Twitch and on Twitter. Same everywhere.
There you go. That's it. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for watching. And everybody at home, if you're walking the dog, just stop, shout out, go you Gunners. If you're on the bus, also, or the train, shout that out. Just stop and go, you bastards, you should all be supporting the Arsenal. And then sit down. Just to let people know. If you're on a plane, don't shout anything because that can get you in a lot of trouble. And we're not taking the fall for it. No, no, no. Then after the post-game show tomorrow, I think the next one is going to be Sunday, 9 p.m. Me and the Fat Man will be there talking absolute gibberish for an hour and a half, and then that'll be it. Right. What outro would you like, Nick? Would you like Steve and Dave, or would you like Anfield 89?
Can I have both of them?
No.
Okay, Anfield 89, please.
But I can do this for you.
Splendid business.
Oh, that'll do. Awesome.
Yes. And then we'll have the Anfield 89 outro. Thank you very much, everybody. And we will see you tomorrow on the Highbury Squad just after the game and at 8 p.m. at ABW. Up your bum.
Fuck Man City.
How rude.
Out it goes to Lee Dixon. Long ball from Lee Dixon. Smith will hold it up. Plays it square to Thomas. And Thomas goes inside Nickel. And Thomas is there. And Thomas has scored for Arsenal. In injury time, Michael Thomas has scored for Arsenal. A ball played through the gap. Thomas was there. He held off two challenges, kept his head. By my watch, we are a minute and a half into injury time.